I'm going to try and create an interesting patch on the Behringer Edge, and I'm going to try and do it from scratch and show you every step of the process. This patch that I came up with is pretty straightforward. It's going to be a kick drum using oscillator 1, and then a sort of melody kind of line on oscillator 2. The basis of all of this is to try and give you something that you could improvise with live. This is probably one of a few patches that I would like to try and explore, and I'll make a start. So first thing that I'm going to do is set up the scale of the sequencer, and I'm going to put that on 16th notes. And that basically means that you've got the potential for, if you want a 4 on the floor kick drum, you've got 2 kick drums per pattern. So next step is we're going to try and turn oscillator 1 into the kick drum. So first things first, let's get the volume up a little bit, because otherwise we're not going to hear anything. And this control here, this is the velocity controlled amplifier, and the decay of that needs to be up a bit in order to give us a bit of continuation to any sound that gets triggered. So the first oscillator is going to be oscillator 1. I'm going to leave it on square wave so that we've got like a more meaty kick drum. If you want something that's slightly rounder, then you could use the triangle wave. We need a bit of frequency for that to start with. We'll probably have it quite low, and then we'll use this envelope control. We'll start off the sound of the oscillator being quite high pitched, and then we'll use the decay function for that oscillator pitch to drop it down again then afterwards. So we're nearly there with the kick drum. First things to do are to give us a little bit of an actual position in the sequence for the kick drum to sound. So 4 on the floor, we're going to use these 2 steps. Getting towards the end now, we want the frequency cutoff of the filter up, because otherwise everything's muffled. It's a low-pass filter, so you wouldn't hear anything if that frequency was all the way down. And then, if I've got my head straight, we've probably got everything sorted. So let's see what we get. Nothing yet. It helps if you turn up the volume of that oscillator. Right, we're getting a click. So we want, let's mess with things a little bit. So that's the frequency. Oh, by the way, I've got some reverb on. I'll turn that off. There's one thing that I meant to do. So this control here is the frequency control of this oscillator as governed by these pitch dials. I want that off. I don't want this control, this oscillator to be controlled by those pitch dials. So I will turn that off. There we go. Instant kick drum. Instant, yeah. We're nearly there. We can tweak this a little bit. We can adjust the pitch with this. And we'll govern how quickly that pitch hits the right level. Okay, and then this decay here controls how long the kick drum will be. So let's go with that. Right, so that's the first bit done. Second stage is using oscillator 2 for something slightly melodic. So I'll turn down oscillator 1, and we're going to leave the pitches where the kick drum is sounding exactly where they are, but we can use these 3 and these 3 to provide us a little bit of either a bass line or a melody kind of stab using oscillator 2. So I'll put these to an arbitrary amount. and I will adjust the volume of oscillator 2 before I forget. We'll put the pitch towards the middle. What else do we need to do? We'll set the envelope control so that it's not adjusting the pitch of the oscillator. Anything else I've forgotten? No, don't think so. Let's give that a try. What do we get now? So we got some bleepy sounds. And if we turn this down, we could do a bass line with that. You can get a more subtle bass line if you turn that down to the triangle wave. And then if we combine the two by turning the oscillator 1 back up again, as I said, we can make the kick a little bit less aggressive using a triangle wave. And then for the sort of polish to it all, we can use a little bit of noise. I'd probably prefer pink noise for a rounded kick drum kind of sound. So that is using the noise to modulate the filter slightly. Or we can just add noise into the mixer. So let's do that very slightly like that. And then of course we can start messing with the filter. So envelope amount is set to 0 at the minute. If I turn down the cutoff, we obviously muffle everything slightly because it's a low pass filter. We can add a little bit of resonance, and then we can use the envelope and the decay. So let's shape the sound a little bit. So again, just using these 6 controls here and keeping the pitch quite low for the kick drum. We've got ourselves a little techno machine. So now you can, of course, you can improvise using the changes of the pitches, the position of the kick drum. And the control of the filter. So obviously you can just copy whatever the dial settings are right now. This should work for the DFAM as well if you've got a Moog DFAM instead. Let me know in the comments what you thought, whether that's any good, and I'll try and do another one if you like it. See you later.